tunnels too.
Hello, we're here at Standedge Tunnel in Marsden. That's the tunnel. This is the lovely Michael who's going to help us go through the tunnel, and this is the boat. We're going to go in it. We're going to go through the longest, deepest and highest canal tunnel in the UK. You'll be pleased to know I'm not using my legs to get through. They actually do have an engine. You do, right?
Electric engine we do.
Thank goodness for that. Let's go. Okay, we're about to go in. It is the longest canal tunnel in the UK, 3¼ miles long. It looks pretty dark in there. Has anyone got any lights? Wow, this is pretty impressive. It's a wide opening to the Standedge Tunnel, but you can see a very narrow tunnel ahead, and we're about to go in there. You can hear the rumbling of the trains ahead. There are 4 tunnels, this being the canal tunnel, and there are 3 train tunnels. So this is where it starts to get quite narrow. The boat is quite wide. This is the boat that the customers can sit on, and you can come and have a journey in here, take your friends and family, pop your hard hat on and enjoy the journey through the tunnel. That is a tight fit. Breathe in. Wow.
When we get to where we stop, we don't turn around, but where we stop, we've got 640 feet solid rock above us. So it's a good job these people at the front put away.
These take really long.
There's a lot of rock left. Yeah. Now,
Is this
the
really
reason for this tunnel is because it's 3
Is
to
this
4
a
miles through
really
solid
long
rock.
tunnel?
Very, very difficult to build. The reason for it is generally Standedge.
Okay, so we're in the tunnel now, and I'm with Boatmaster Pilot Michael, who knows everything because you've worked here since 2006. We're now well and truly inside Standedge Tunnel. You've just been telling me about the air conditioning. Tell me what you mean by that.
We have a series of air shafts as you go over the Pennines, and 4 of them drop water down onto the canal. And as that water comes 600 odd feet down to the bottom, it drags oxygen down into the bottom here, which is why we don't need any air movers or fans or anything to take the boats through. It means that we're now able to have diesel engines in here powering the boats through, so we don't have to leg it anymore, fortunately.
So that's got me out of a job, because I thought today when you said come and have a go in the tunnel, I thought I've been working out, but I don't need to leg it through the tunnel. But that is what used to happen.
That's right, yeah, it takes about 3 hours to leg through the tunnel, and 4 times a day they would do it. Not even for real money, for canal company tokens to top it all off, to spend in the canal company pub and the canal company shop.
Wow. And as we can see, because we're in here, there is no towpath or anything. So back in the day when you would have horses pulling the boats, what would happen to the horses?
Well, each of the boats could be pushed into the tunnel, and the tunnel controller would then charge each boat accordingly and pull a chain across the entrance and then set off with the horses over the top. So as the boats came out the other side, about 3 hours later, he'd give them the horses back. When the last boat came out, you'd know the tunnel were clear to put boats in the opposite direction and set off back again.
There's a long wait then, really, to wait for someone. You can't have 2 boats in here. It's just...
A young man called Thomas Bourne who started work when he was 12 years old, and he worked till he was 58, I think it was. And that was his job, 4 times a day over the Pennines with the horses. He worked out he did 120,000 miles in his life between the 2 villages.
He must have been as fit as a fiddle.
He must have been, he must have been.
Amazing. I don't really like spiders. Are there any here?
We have spiders for about 200 metres either side of the tunnel. And then when we get inside, there's nothing lives in here at all because there's no food for it. So we don't have nothing in the tunnel. No rats, no spiders, no nothing.
Really? So if we got stuck in here, we'd have not to eat either.
No, I've brought a bit of packed lunch, I don't know.
He's brought snap, it's fine, it's fine.
Well, it's 3¼ miles. We have a series of legging plates, one coming up, and that allowed the leggers, as they were lay on the front of the boat, racing each other with the shoulders, walking along the walls, and they could look up and chart the progress through. They were set a furlong apart, so there's 108 of them all together in the original tunnel.
And I guess if it's something you do 4 times a day, you're going to want to be making sure you're counting how long you've got left.
I don't think you'd want to know just yet till you're at least halfway, would you?
And it takes, on a boat like this, which is what, 2-3 miles an hour, how long will it take you to get through to the end?
A good 2 hours. On a normal narrow boat, you can do it in about 1:40, something like that. You can go a little bit faster because you have a bow on the front of the boat. Originally, it was 3 hours to leg it through from one end to the other.
Wow. Now, I've heard the tunnel, when it was started to, when it was being dug out this end and dug out that end, wasn't really going to meet in the middle.
That's right. After working, they realised eventually that they'd missed in the middle. And at that point, the whole project was shelved and they had to go back to government to get another Act of Parliament to get the money to finish it off. And it was at that point when Thomas Telford came down here, did a full survey of the site, and he came up with the solutions to fix it all up, which includes having an S-bend in the middle. So as we go through now from one end to the other, we have to negotiate 3 turns when we get to the centre section.
Wow, it's a good job someone realised that.
It is, yeah.
And back then when it opened, what was it, 100 and some thousand to make? How much was it to create the tunnel?
A lot of money. A lot of money. It was all paid for by a conglomerate of mill owners who put it together. It was one of the unusual canals. It went in the straightest possible way right across the Pennines, which is why you have 42 locks on one side to get all the way up from Huddersfield.
Wow. And how far in are we about now, do you reckon?
We're about 150, 200 metres in, so you've got about another hour and 50 minutes yet to get to the other end.
Goodness me. And is it like this all the way through in terms of the stonework and how much space you have? Because it seems a bit wider here.
Yeah, the tunnel itself, because it was built in sections, it came down through air shafts at the top, depth shafts, and it was intended to strike out either side. But they realised in the 70s, 90s, most of the expensive part of digging a canal was pumping water away. So when they realised it was taking too long, they changed tact and worked from 2 ends, and that's when they realised they missed. But the tunnel itself was intended to be lined the whole way, but they soon realised it was going to be too expensive and took too long. So about 60% of the tunnel is open rock, so you can see how the Pennines were formed as you actually go through the rock.
Whereas this bit, this is lined, yeah.
Right, that's off. Are we ready? We're doing the nice goes today. You ready? Let's see if we can frighten Chris off the back of the boat, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Well, rubbish. Rubbish. We can do better than that, can't we? Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's very good.
No, finished is fine.
That's my escape route. It isn't really. Michael, tell us all about that hidey hole there.
Okay, so just 30 odd years after the canal tunnel was finished, bearing in mind this took nearly 17 years to build, they started work on a railway tunnel. The railway company came along and bought the whole canal company out. They then used us to build their tunnel. The difference in there, it's 2 or 3 times the diameter of this tunnel. It's fully lined all the way through and perfectly straight, and yet it only took 3.5 years to build. But it went through a leap in engineering skills, even though they had the gunpowder at that point, dynamite at that point. They realised the most expensive part of digging underground was pumping water away. So they built the railway tunnel slightly higher so they had natural water drainage, saved them thousands of hours and thousands of pounds.
Wow.
And then all the spoil from those tunnels came onto a waiting boat and went to either end of the canal tunnel. So it didn't have to be taken up by a bucket and dumped on the moors at the top.
Which is what happened to happen when,
The contents of this one was taken up by bucket, and it's still all up there in big piles as well.
Really? Amazing. So we're in the tunnel. We've gone quite far in now. How deep is it here?
We're about 640 feet below ground, but the water itself is about 2.5 metres deep. And that's because this is a reservoir pound. We hold all the water in this 4-mile stretch to drop down either side of the canal, either side of the tunnel. As well as using this as a reservoir stretch, we also have 9 reservoirs along the length of the canal, which holds the water, which we can then drop into this section.
And how do you drop it into this section?
It's all piped down. This is 200-year-old piping system, so it doesn't all land here, but most of it comes into this top section now.
So it took 17 years to dig through, and you've been talking about how all the rock was taken. How would they break the stone?
Well, this is the main tool here which constructed the tunnel, known as a star drill. 1790s version of a Black & Decker drill, basically. Operated by a navvy on his shoulder, and two of his colleagues will be striking the end of the star drill as he give it a quarter of a turn each time. It took about an hour and a half to drill an 18-inch hole in millstone grit. That hole would then be packed up with black powder or gunpowder, sealed off with some clay at the end, a small fuse, and the navvies would then retire about the length of this motorway before they blasted that rock out. Be straight back in the smoke and the dust, break all those pieces of rock up into handleable sizes, which then went up by bucket through the depth shafts to the top of the moors and got left up there.
Wow, impressive. So we're live at Standedge Tunnel and the Visitors Centre, and there's loads happening today. There's some exhibitions as well, and we're joined by one of the exhibitors from Mountain Rescue Council Home Valley. Tony Norcliffe is with us. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever been called an exhibitor, but there you go.
Okay, well, you're here to show exactly what you guys do at Mountain Rescue for the Home Valley. Very important job. You work closely with the police. Tell us a little bit about what a day in the life would be like for you guys.
Well, it varies, but we normally get called out by a police call to us, and we have a pager system which goes around the whole team, and then the ones that are available at that time will turn out and assist the police in whatever manner they require us to do it. We also assist the ambulance service should they have difficult extrications from rural areas or steep areas or anything like that that's rather inaccessible. Other than that, we just do our normal things, looking for missing people on the moors or even missing people in rural areas.
It's a really important job. Have you ever come across something that was quite unusual over the moors here?
Unusual, nearly everyone's unusual in some circumstance or other. That's why we've got to be fairly flexible in what we do. We have the equipment to do that, and whatever's required, we'll try and avail ourselves of that and manage to work it out.
Now, you've got some of your equipment with you here today, so any families come in can see what you take out with you. You've got your truck. What sort of stuff do you take out with you?
When we first set out looking for someone, if we don't know where they are, we have what's called a party kit, which is just a basic shelter, a sheet to cover them over with, keep them warm, which is a specialised item. It's not just a sheet. And we have a net called a helmet in case they're in a bad area. And we also have the protection gear for ourselves.
Fantastic. So how many of you work together? Because you were saying to me a little bit earlier that there are just really 2 mountain rescues for the whole of West Yorkshire. How many volunteers work for yourself at the Home Valley?
Right, in the Home Valley team there are approximately 50 call-out members. That's people who have gone through various tests on various things like navigation, first aid, that sort of thing. And they're on the full call-out list then, and they are available, well, I say available, they're on call 24 hours a day for every day of the year. Obviously, we have people I'll get this right now, we're a totally voluntary organisation. Some people work, can't get away from work, which is why we have such large numbers, so that whatever happens, we're always going to get a reasonable turnout to be able to assist.
So anything in particular you're doing today? Are you fundraising? Is that how you are funded?
This is not what we do as far as fundraising is concerned. This is just to lift our profile in the local community. Fundraising, we have various things. We do collections, we get donations from people. The actual team, I've just looked at the board this time, and they've decided it's costing about £20,000 a year to run the team, which is quite a lot of money. And luckily, through generous donations and support from the public, which is what we have, then we're able to keep going.
And can I ask, if I was to struggle on some of these windy roads on my way home, would you be able to help me get out of them?
The answer to that is yes, we would be able to, but no, we wouldn't get you out. There are other people involved who may need us in our specialised situations. So no, you would have to put up with the police or some bloke with a breakdown truck coming.
Yeah, I think no, my driving it will definitely be that. Thank you very much for your time, Tony, and we'll let you get back to your stall.
Thanks very much indeed.
So we spoke to Tony and the guys from the mountain rescue team earlier, and I'm just thinking maybe I could give this a go. If not else, I can get back to the station pretty safely in this, better than my little mini. Where's the ignition? Does it have gears? So I've been sat in the Water's Edge Cafe, but there's loads of other stuff happening today at Standedge Tunnel and the Visitors Centre, and this mill is amazing. There's stuff for the kids to do, and there's a boat. I'm just in the queue for my face painting. I won't be long. Wow, what a fabulous day we've had at Standedge Tunnel today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. There's loads of pictures going on our website at pulse2.co.uk. Best bit, I got a certificate to say that I braved the dark. I did. Fabulous. Standedge Tunnel 2018, well and truly open for the new season, so get yourself down here at any point. It's totally free, and it's a really good day out for the family.